Ahí lo estoy filmando, lo estoy filmando, lo estoy filmando. I'm filming you, I'm filming you, we're stand on the beach. I'm filming you. That's it, that's it. Ahí, ahí.
Claudia, wey.
You are shooting. We are speaking with you. You are shooting. You are shooting. You are shooting. I want to speak with you.
Very nice.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hello, guys. I'm James Hake of the Hake Report, and it is the 4th hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show stream on Thursday, July 25th, 2019, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm live every day, Monday through Friday, on the 4th hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show video stream. Also on audio at jlptalk.com. Remember Jesse's website, jlptalk.com. That's for his. It goes right to his jesseleepeterson.com, but the radio show section of that. So check it out. Audio podcasts of my shows go up on thehakereport.com/podcast. On all the major platforms that I know about, you know, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher. And what you just saw at the beginning and before the song played, the beautiful song, thank you, Trevor, was a story that I came across in Drudge, of course. Shoot! Illegals taunt Customs and Border Protection to open fire during a border clash. And I played the first clip of it. It was from the American Mirror, found via the American Mirror. On Friday, last week, presumably, a group of 47 undocumented, so-called, individuals attempted to illegally enter the United States in 3 waves via the Far International Bridge. Ignoring commands to stop, the group suddenly rushed the temporary barricades, bent metal poles, disabled the concertina wire, that's the razor wire, affixed to the barrier, Customs and Border Protection said in a news release. And I wonder, why do they call them undocumented individuals instead of by their proper name, illegal aliens? That's like the government name for them. Several males began assaulting officers and attempted to grab the officers' protective devices. Agents deployed their tear gas and pepper ball launching systems in efforts to stop the group. Mexican officials assisted in apprehending the perpetrators. 2 will be charged with interference, according to CBS 4. And a video from El Cortadito Web on YouTube was titled Un grupo de cubanos que intenta cruzar la frontera ilegalmente son golpeados por la patrulla fronter. Translation, I think a group of Cubans? Cubans, does that mean? Yeah, Cubans trying to cross the border illegally, trying to fight with the Border Patrol. And I have the second part of it where he's saying, shoot, shoot, shoot. Go for it.
Shoot, 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 shoot. Come back, please. Shoot, shoot. This is not the f***ing rules. Not the rules. Okay? It's not the f***ing rules. We can go back. We can go back.
That's racist to say go back. He said we can go back. Anyways, I just thought I would show that to you guys. They're still fighting and creating mess. Remember those photographs, those propaganda photos from Reuters and AP and the CNN and all those of the riot back in, I think, November or something like that over in Tijuana. They crossed the border and they were rioting and throwing rocks at the cops, the Border Patrol and all that stuff. And then they took this photograph of a mother with her dragging her children in the midst of the madness. And there's like, you can see all these photographers in the midst of the action taking dramatic shots. So ridiculous. Just all drama. Somebody yesterday said that what we're watching in Washington, D.C., and referring to the Mueller thing, I think, the hearing, was WWE and in general, I think he's talking about politics in general up in D.C., is WWE, which is World Wrestling Entertainment. It used to be WWF when I was a kid. Well, I mean, I was still a kid when it changed, but I liked WWF better, World Wrestling Federation. But it's basically like performance pro wrestling, where you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it is semi-staged. You're not supposed to hurt each other that bad. Just a mess. And speaking of mess, I have a report from Chicago of more illegals and so-called immigrants and brown people. This is Brown News Hour. You know, it is White History Month, but it wouldn't be white history without the brown people. And by brown people, I mean Latinos. Because I'm going a week without talking about blacks, so I get to talk about browns. So, according to Drudge, children at a party smash a piñata, shaped as an ICE agent. And for you, those who don't know, a piñata is like a big doll that is filled with candy, and people hit the doll, and it's swinging from a rope. That's what a piñata is. So, I have clips from this, and then I will get to the calls. I appreciate you guys calling, 888-775-3773. The lines are filling up, but we have a couple more open. So, CBS Chicago reports that this event, East Side Community Day in Chicago, was organized by a Chamber of Commerce comprised of over 25 East Side Chicago businesses. A representative said that they would never have imagined that this event would cause commotion. And so I have a couple of clips from the news report from the local news, CBS Chicago, about this incident.
The immigration debate became a child's game at a Chicago event. Children took turns trying to break open this piñata shaped like an ICE officer at a block party.
Fuerte, fuerte.
A little girl holding a stick, swinging away at a piñata.
In form of a ICE agent.
All right, break it, break it.
Later, a boy takes a crack at it.
Woo!
Breaking open the controversial candy-filled container.
The older ones, of course, we'd let them know what it meant. We'll teach them what it meant.
Yep, they're going to teach the people that hate the little children to hate the cops and to hate the law enforcement, because it's a mess. What do you think is going to happen when you're teaching a whole community of, in this case, Latinos, to disrespect the police, disrespect the ICE, disrespect the people who are trying to enforce the law when they're the ones who are being corrupt? Such a mess. So here's more from that man that we just heard from, who is, and if you're not watching the video, this man looks like he has no sense. He looks like a brown panther. And I say brown panther because he's Latino. Here he is.
Anthony Martinez heads the Chicago faction of Los Brown Berets, a pro-Chicano activist group that ordered a Batman piñata and turned it into this.
So we're just making a statement.
A statement to the federal government amid what Martinez calls cruel deportation practices.
Taking children from their parents, separating them, let them know that it's not wanted here in this community.
Images posted online show several other children in line, waiting to take a swing at the political piñata. The photos garnering fans on Facebook, but drawing ire from others, some calling it ignorant, disrespectful, and teaching the young to hate.
Yep. This man said it was not meant in a negative way towards law enforcement, said Anthony Martinez, who leads the Chicago chapter of Los Brown Berets, as that guy said, a nationwide activist group aimed at overcoming so-called inequalities against Chicanos. His organization bought a Batman piñata and transformed it into an immigration and customs enforcement officer. And he said, we're just making a statement that the federal government's recent actions regarding deportation are wrong, taking children from their parents, separating them, just the usual propaganda. And the media feeds this crap too. You know, the whites. Shameful. So here's a little bit more. The last
kids
part.
who were breaking open a piñata didn't know anything about it.
Marvin Covington is a member of the East Side Chamber of Commerce.
a group of over 25 East Side area businesses that organized the mid-July event.
Break it!
Covington tells CBS 2 the chamber wasn't aware the piñata would be present.
It wasn't a sense of this is terrible, I shouldn't have came. It was, this is something that happened, we got to move on.
So he didn't really seem to care that much. He didn't seem for it, but he certainly wasn't against it. And you know what else they had over there? Was at the same event, children were offered a chance to throw balls at a painted image of President Trump. Yep, just hate for the president. The event was meant to be fun and family-oriented, now creating factions within the community. Martinez, which is that brown beret guy, that Chicano, said that proceeds from the controversial kids' activities will go towards helping asylum seekers. Whatever. Anyways, let me get to some calls. Stephan, out of Chicago, first-time caller. Stephan, how are you? Hello.
Yes, I'm fine. How you doing?
All right. How about you?
Good.
What do you want to talk
I just
about?
had a question about something else, but speaking on the topic that at hand, as far as deportation, I don't agree with it, me personally.
You don't agree with what?
Just because...
What don't you agree with?
Deporting people, you know, that live in this country, that came to this country to better themselves, to better their family, to better their lives. Despite, you know, some people I know may be, you know, not right or good, or have good intentions when they come to the country, you know, but you can't put that on all people, you know, that come in the country
illegally,
quote unquote, illegally.
Why do you say quote unquote illegally? It is illegal. How come you call it quote unquote illegally?
Well, illegal. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people that are illegal, shit like that. This, you know, I don't fault them because they have good intentions coming to the country.
How do you know
that?
How do you know that they have good intentions?
And they help the economy.
They do not.
The illegal immigrants that you're speaking on and that you speak on, you know, help the economy and help.
No, man, you're just spouting.
You know, why don't you speak on that?
You're just spouting stuff that you hear from the media that they don't even verify.
Everything bad has to have a opposite side. Everything has to have a good side.
Of course, but you're talking about people who came here illegally, and you're pretending that they came for good intentions to better themselves and their family.
Anything. I'm saying
you're saying that because you don't know that. How many illegals do you know?
I know enough.
And how did
that are not just Hispanic or not just Mexican.
Yeah,
you know
but just the majority are. That's kind of irrelevant.
I know a lot.
So how come you're taking their side? How come you're for ill-gotten gain?
Okay, I mean, can I ask you one question?
No. Answer that. How come you're for ill-gotten gain? Because you want them to better their lives at the expense of us. At the expense of supporting the law.
Okay, when you say at the expense of us, what do you mean?
At the expense of the law, at the expense of our culture. They support anti-American policies.
As far as culture, what you mean culture? We eat tacos here. We have Taco Bell, right? We have Del Taco. We take other cultures. So, I mean, I don't understand what you mean. When you say take
when I'm talking about culture, I don't care about food. Why do liberals always support
culture? Food is part of culture.
No, that's stupid. So why do you support ill-gotten gain? Because that's what it is.
You said ill-gotten. I don't even know what that is.
Ill-gotten gain means they're breaking the law to come here and take advantage for themselves, not for the country. They don't care about us. They don't care about the law. They're disrespecting the law.
Okay, so how do you know that? How do you know? How do you
By
know
definition,
that? You asked me
Stephen,
how many illegal immigrants do I personally know? How do you know that every single illegal immigrant came for a negative, or you know what I mean?
Every single illegal came here.
What about the illegal immigrants that don't use government funding?
Stephen, every single illegal came here illegally. They don't respect our laws. They don't respect America.
What about the illegal immigrants that came here illegally people, illegal people that enter the country, what about the people that don't use government assistance or anything?
It doesn't matter. They're using government assistance because they're just coming here illegally.
They never call the police. They never use the ambulance. They never, none of that. But they live in the country.
You're making stupid excuses and you're changing the subject.
That's not stupid. That's
yes,
real.
It is.
I'm asking now. I want you to answer those questions.
But those are stupid questions. You're just making stuff up.
I asked you.
You're making stuff up.
The people that enter the country that's good and help the country.
They're not good people.
They're
not good people. If they came here illegally, they need to go back and do it right.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Has
How come you support? Hey, Stephen, answer the question.
Immigrants to work for him?
How come you support ill-gotten gain?
Has Trump hired illegal immigrants to work for him?
Unknowingly, I'm sure, yes.
Unknowingly?
Yeah, unknowingly.
You said unknowingly. How do you not know? So you mean to tell me he didn't do the proper screening process?
There's a lot of you can do the proper screening process. They commit fraud, man.
That's what I'm saying.
How come
it don't make sense?
Stephen,
you're saying that okay, so the illegal
you are
that
so blind.
He hired them, not knowing. He hired the illegal immigrants, not knowing.
Yes, he's not involved in every hire.
Okay, so whatever.
This man is a billionaire.
He did hire whatever.
This man is a billionaire, and you expect him to know who hired the housekeeper.
Did they help the business? Did they help the you know what I mean?
You're so fake, man.
You're when he hired them.
That is so blind. Okay. Of course, a human being is going to be able to help in some way, but it's called ill-gotten gain because they don't belong here.
I said this at the beginning.
Do you care? I'm not going to talk about black people.
Everything that you may feel that is bad, or everything that I may feel that is good, is another side to that.
So, that doesn't make it right for them to have done that and stay here.
I don't agree.
They don't have a right to be here, Stephen.
But I understand why you do,
Stephen.
And it's okay.
No, it's not okay because you're. This is why whites are so fed up because blind people like you.
You're angry at illegal immigrants.
No, you're angry at white people.
In my heart.
You're angry at white people.
Like you do.
You hate white people.
I don't have.
You hate white people.
No, I don't hate.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because you don't care about the country. You don't care about the downfall of the country at the expense.
I don't care about the country.
Yes, you don't.
Do you know how much open acreage do we have in our country?
I don't care. That's a stupid question.
Exactly. You don't care. That's what I'm saying. You don't care about the important shit.
You
only want to look at
Wayne. Nick out of St. Louis, Missouri, presumably. First time caller. Nick, how are you?
What's going on, Hake?
Not much, man. How about you?
I'm good. Hey, just observation. I mean, I like the show.
Yeah.
And with the thing about the ice, that scene that you just played.
Yep.
That was in a movie. Did you ever see Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
Remember when Pedro was running for class president?
Uh-huh.
And he made a piñata out of Summer Wheatley. Remember that?
No.
And then they beat up the piñata with a bunch of kids, like you see in the clip you just showed.
Uh-huh.
And then he got in trouble for it, and the principal called him in, and he let him know how that was bad, and he was saying, this is just part of my culture, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny how you see stuff like that in movies, and then you use it as not you, but it's used as a clip to play out in the streets. So a lot of this stuff, it just seems like it's just propaganda to give you a talking point, or it's good to make issues out to be like, see, this is what we're talking about. But a lot of this stuff.
You don't think that really happened?
So
you don't think that they're teaching the kids?
Clearly it happened because we saw it, right?
And you don't think that they're teaching the kids to hate ICE and Trump?
In one form, as an adult, I can see the underlying. I see what you see, but at the same time, looking at it as from the kids, those kids, what's inside the piñata? Candy. So they would be busting the piñata.
I'm concerned about the adults teaching the kids this stuff.
If they want to attach that, and I know that they do, sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the kids themselves, with stuff like that, they're just out in the case of the piñata.
I'm not criticizing the kids, though.
We plant the seeds. Go ahead. What did you say?
I'm not criticizing the kids, though.
Right. It's always about the adults. It's always
and then they're brainwashing, the kids from a young age.
So with that, so it's not part of the the culture itself is just whether them, the Black Brown Panther guy, or us, we feed these kids these ideas, right?
Say that again?
But the kids, we feed the kids these ideas, but the kids themselves only know the candy. They only want the good part of it, right?
Maybe
That's why
the younger ones, but they're catching on. They get it because it's this type of mindset, this type of anti-Trump mindset is rampant among these people. And you saw how radical that guy was. Like he did not belong in any type of chamber of commerce event. But that's the east side of Chicago.
But it just seems like it's played up, man. Look, I mean, it looked almost like made up. A guy in a Black Panther suit or Brown Panther suit, as you call it. I get it.
Yeah,
it just looks
he wasn't
fake,
a Black
man.
Panther.
What'd you say?
He wasn't a Black Panther. He was just wearing a militant
uniform.
uniform.
You called him a Brown. You called him a Brown Panther.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of that, I was the one who called you out in the chat room because you said something about black people. So you lost the bet.
No, man. No, that doesn't count.
Right on, Hake.
I appreciate it, Nick. I guess I have to do.
Take it easy.
I'm on probation.
Yep.
I have to do one extra day or something. I'll go through Friday. Don't
right.
tell Always
Well,
Right,
luck,
though, because
man.
Always Right is the one who has to pay. All right, Nick.
Right. All right,
care,
take
man.
it easy.
Let's see. Rachel out of Ontario, California. First time caller. Rachel, I think it's California. How are you?
Hi, James.
Hey, nice to hear from you, Rachel.
Nice to hear you, too. And you're doing great.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something about that guy that called about the Hispanics coming in here to just try to make a better life for themselves.
Yeah, that was propaganda. He's just
Yeah, that's
repeating
a
it.
whole lot of what you just said.
Yeah.
I was working in electronics, and they were in there. And they used to go in there and make their life miserable for the Mexicans, American citizens from here. And then they just used to talk about how much they hated America and how beautiful their country was and not ours. And they were just here to get the benefit they could that their mothers used to get Social Security, and they used to send it to Mexico for the people.
Yeah, I know these people. And it's all about the hookup for them. They don't care. They'll get what they can, and they don't care about honesty, about the law. As long as they can get away with it, they're doing whatever they can. And that's
right.
That's
These
the culture.
people don't know what they're talking about, and that guy with the uniform is called a brown beret, I think. And
yeah.
they a lot of them don't even know what's going on. They just want some fame and some publicity, and so they go with the Hispanics.
Yeah.
But the Hispanics hate Americans.
Yeah, it's true.
That are born here. They're jealous of them.
Yeah.
And so we can't fool
I've seen that
everybody.
too.
You should get educated and find out what it's really going on.
Yep. I
And how
appreciate it, Rachel.
they talk about our president. Our president is a good president, the best president we ever had.
I know. And then they think it's objective to hate him.
Yeah.
Because their media is feeding them that crap, and then the parents are corrupt. The whole government down there is pretty corrupt, and it's a mess.
That's true. You know, I gotta say, you can't hear you very well. There's something wrong with your equipment there because you go in and out.
Oh, okay.
And I just thought I'd mention that.
All right.
You don't
Appreciate
know
the
about
tip,
it.
Rachel. What are you talking about
James,
your phone?
That's all
or?
I call about, and you're doing great.
Okay.
Love you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Rachel. Hold on, Rachel. I'm going to put you on hold and ask the screener to clarify which thing you're talking about. So hold on for one moment, and he'll check.
Sure.
All right. Alex, out of San Antonio, been holding a little while. Texas. Alex, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, James?
Fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Cool. Yeah, you too. I wanted to call because I heard the caller from Chicago talking about illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, and how they can't use tax related things, and how it's not really a drain on our economy.
Yep.
Well, I disagree because there's a lot of costs that are unseen.
Definitely.
For example, they get if they go to the emergency room,
Yeah.
they get free treatment because it's the law. Anybody can do that, and that's their only option because they can't get anything else. And then another thing is colleges also give them student aid under the table. Like there's a school that I was going to in Texas, and I was applying for student aid through FAFSA. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of FAFSA.
And there's an option that says, if you are undocumented, apply for this state program, and they're giving them upwards of $5,000 a year.
They favor illegals
just on the state.
Yeah, they favor illegals there in the colleges and schools and stuff.
I had a professor too that I was butting heads with. She was a Hispanic woman, but most people are in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And this was around the time when Trump first got elected, and you know how they had Trump derangement syndrome?
Yeah, big time.
And she sent out this thing to our online class discussion thing. She's like, if there are any dreamers in here, please reach out to me. I'll help you. Like going on and on, being all emotional about the DACA people.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, it's a whole mess. But and another thing illegals use that doesn't get mentioned is our infrastructure. All our roads, our buildings, all built by taxpayer money.
Yeah. Yeah, they talk about how Obama deported all these illegals, but he would let them in too. He was letting the unaccompanied alien children in by the droves, set the border patrol like 40 miles inland from the border, and he instituted DACA. He instituted DAPA, which was struck down, the parents of so-called Americans, anchor babies. And it's all a PR campaign because they want upstanding so-called liberal illegal alien people to do a PR campaign on behalf of illegals so that we let them stay here, when in reality, and so that they vote Democrat, becomes just a huge, powerful Democrat voting bloc, pretending to get along with all the other races except for white people, and even with some ingratiate themselves with the liberal whites. But it's all evil. It's all lies. Obama was horrible about the border, but there's a false thing that Obama was tough with the border because he was deporting. He deported a whole bunch of them, supposedly. But it's not the whole story, and they don't want to tell the whole story. They want to pretend that the illegals is not a problem, even though we have millions and millions and millions of them. Dozens of millions, probably. So it's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And you're
Open.
right. And it's more
there's places where there's no fence.
Say that again?
I said the border is open. There's places where there's no fence. So it's always funny to me how they quote, we have 11 million illegals here. How do you know? Nobody knows how many illegals we have here. And chances are there's more than there's less.
Yep. Yeah, and they do a lot more, and the legal ones too, supposedly legal. They change the culture and change the landscape so much. Like, it's undeniable how much whole communities have transformed. And it's not for the good, too. It's for the worse. And they don't have American values. They don't believe in freedom of speech. They believe in racism. So it's just more attacks on whites and more attacks on America. And then they pretend to love America, but it's just, in what way do they love America? They just love to take advantage of America. So.
Oh, I know. If they loved America, they would assimilate. Yeah. I'm sure you have this in L.A., but there's parts of San Antonio that you drive through, and you think, am I in Guatemala or am I in America?
I know.
All the roads are beat up. All the shops are beat up. All the signs are in Spanish. And there's, like, people walking along the street just giving you a dirty look.
Yeah.
Like, get out of our town, Whitey. It's a mess.
What a shame. Anyway,
and,
Alex.
They're letting people in with these anchor baby things. No, I just wanted to say no other country does this. America is the only one that lets women have a baby on our soil, and for some reason that baby isn't U.S. citizen. That needs to be repealed.
I totally agree. I don't even think it's really a proper interpretation of the 14th Amendment. That was for slaves who we just wanted to let them become citizens. But it wasn't for illegal alien mothers to come in, or Chinese mothers to come in as tourists and then have babies in the hotels. and call them
See,
Americans.
that's what the government does. You know, they institute a law because what they should have done is they should have put that in place, freed the slaves, and then took it off. But instead, you know, you give a government an inch, they're going to put that in place and never take it off.
You know, the people need to become better, though. Like, the people need to, like, make white babies, for example, because overall, our native-born population is shrinking. Well, as in real Americans, people are shrinking as a population because they're self-absorbed, going to college, getting careers, not having babies, feminism, all that crap, anti-family stuff, homosexuality, all that nonsense. They're putting in porn and all that stuff. They're like making porn to be acceptable.
Yeah,
and all this
they call
stuff,
it sex work now.
Yeah, all this stuff is accepted, and it's really anti-family stuff, anti-men, anti-women, honestly. But they don't see it. They don't realize that it's anti-women because it kisses up to the women. It kisses up to the worst.
You got such a good point, James. I mean, it is down to the people because even the Republicans are weak now. I mean, you look at Republicans, they say, we don't want illegal immigration. But we're all for legal immigration.
No, we don't want that
everybody,
either.
But as long as it's legal.
But they have to bring in the illegals because we're not having enough babies. So in their minds,
I mean, we can just scale back, can't we?
Yeah.
Why do we need to bring in people?
We're bringing in over 1 million a year, and it's been that number for I don't know how long per year.
That's legally, right?
Legally, yeah. And then uncounted numbers illegally. And
I'll
then
tell you what,
even the
most
ones
of
we
those
catch, we
immigrants
can't even send
are
back.
not conservative.
Yeah, right. Many of them are coming to get educated, and the education system is corrupting our own white babies. And then it's
that's
corrupting
turning
them too.
from socialists into full-on communists.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Alex. Happy White History Month.
Yeah, happy White History Month, James. Talk to you later.
All right, take care. Josh, been waiting out of Texas. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing well. Did you have an opportunity to look up what I was referring to yesterday about the Act of 1871 and when Washington, D.C. was created?
I haven't checked into that, no.
Oh, sorry, my son was talking to me. No, well, no, I mean it's just it's a fascinating topic. Like when you realize some of the occult things that have taken place throughout even American history, and the realization that the District of Columbia is merely a corporation. And I've heard somebody say before, and I forget who it was, that voting for the president of this corporation would be like voting for the president of Apple. You know, you don't work for them, you're not employed by them.
You know,
they don't really have any real authority outside of Washington, D.C.
You know, somebody in the chat yesterday said it's a pretty poorly run corporation. It can't even make money because it's just like going further and further into debt, major debt. And Trump is trying to scale back, but he had to pour a lot of money into like the military and stuff and give a lot of concessions to Democrats. He wants to scale back, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, like even I don't know. I guess I just kind of feel about Trump that there's so many things that he could do, and maybe you guys don't want to touch this, but like even if you reopened the investigation on 9/11, because there's things about it that don't make any sense.
I don't know how Trump feels about 9/11, but there's a lot of stuff that Trump wants to do that his hands are tied. I was reading the news reports today about Don McGahn, who was the White House counsel, Trump campaign counsel, and he was supposedly a faithful worker under Trump, a lawyer basically, but he advised Trump because Trump wanted to investigate and prosecute Hillary Clinton and leaking James Comey, and Don McGahn's like, no, we can't do that, and his basically reasoning was that you can't open up an investigation on these people because that looks like an abuse of power, even though we're looking at them and everybody thinks of them as corrupt people, especially Hillary, but nobody respects James Comey either. Okay. But they're not going to investigate them. They're going to investigate Trump. Talk about abuse of power.
Yeah, that's what I meant about the whole thing. Just it just appears like a poorly run reality TV show. And in my personal opinion, I think I'm one of those weirdos that thinks that presidents are selected, not elected. And I see Trump as someone that, he calls out the media. He's fun. He's brought to the attention of fake news. And he's fun to watch, but he doesn't seem to be doing anything that he said he was going to do.
But I disagree with that. He's done everything that he said he's going to do.
Where's the wall? There's more immigration than before.
I know, but you're not saying that he didn't do anything. You said that he didn't do anything. He called for a national emergency to appropriate funds for the wall. That's what a president does. He sent the military down there. That's what a president does. And just because everybody's fighting with him, you're acting like it's a one-sided football game where he should be scoring touchdowns left and right, where he has the whole rest of the government fighting against him. And you said he hasn't done anything, but he has done everything that he said that he's going to do so far.
Well, so then it won't happen, because if Trump can't accomplish this, if you have the House of Representatives and you have Congress,
how are you going to predict that it won't happen? You're trying to predict the future. That's not a fair thing to do. That's not a wise thing to do, honestly, because then you're going to lose hope prematurely when you're living in the future, which doesn't exist, as Jesse always says. And you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because you're
no, I understand what you're saying, but when you say predict the future, do you know there was this movie that came out in the 1950s? It was a Western movie, black and white. And in this movie, there's a guy that came to this small town in Texas, promising to build a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys in town said, "No, this guy's a swindler. He's not going to do what he says he's going to do." Well, the character that came into town, his name was Trump.
I don't care about that, Josh. You missed my point about predicting the future. You can't predict the future. And he has been building wall. He's been replacing a lot of it. And you said that you're saying that it's not going to happen. You're saying it's not going to happen, and Trump is the best man for the job. I think we both agree. But you're speaking doubt into the world when there's really no reason to.
Well, that's why I think that Trump was ultimately like just a boomer sedative. He just keeps that hope alive, and.
But you're speculating.
Nothing's changing.
You're speculating. You're lying when you say nothing's changing. A lot has changed.
What?
For example, we've seen more than ever. People are realizing that it is a national emergency. He's exposed the media. He's stood his ground on the attack on white people. He's stood on the truth of Charlottesville. He's stood on the truth of the illegal aliens.
Truth on Charlottesville. That guy's locked up.
Hold on. But who cares about that guy? That guy, he stood on the truth of Charlottesville.
Who cares about that guy?
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about he stood on the truth of Charlottesville.
He cares about A$AP Rocky.
What?
He cares about A$AP Rocky, the rapper who got locked up in Sweden for beating people up.
You're changing the subject, man. You're going crazy. Yeah, you are crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist because you're not really focusing on reality.
That's where we're at.
No, you're making up stuff about
No, he
Trump.
he tweeted that he about A$AP Rocky. That's not a conspiracy theory.
I know, but it's stupid. Your conspiracy theory. No, you're the one who's acting stupid because you're speculating about Trump that you don't know.
Well, James, you're being kind of rude.
All right. Anything else, Josh?
That's it. Thank you, James.
Bye. People are so blind. Trump is working for us. He's been consistently for us. But people like that want to act like I saw some movie that it was a guy named Trump and he was a swindler. So stupid. That is stupid. It's not rude. It's stupid. Anyways. Grace, first-time caller out of New Jersey. How are you doing, Grace?
Very good. How are you?
Fine. You're sounding like you're on speakerphone. Hold on, Grace. Go fix your phone and check on Grace, please. Mike. Oops. Mike out of New York. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm here.
Hey. What's up, man?
I'm right here.
Yeah, what's up?
Is this Josh?
No. Mike, hold on, man.
Right?
Hold on, Mike. Check on Mike, too, afterwards. Casey out of Washington, D.C. Casey, how are you? Hello.
Hey, James, am I online?
Yeah.
Hey, James, this is KT,
KT. Nice to hear from you, KT.
Hey, what's going on? You kind of got me confused. I was like, KC? I was like, okay. Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to respond. Actually, I just wanted to say something about illegal aliens. Not illegal aliens, sorry, but the Hispanic immigrants. So I took my son yesterday to a local park, and I thought I was in Mexico or South America.
Yeah.
It was majority Hispanic and just Spanish everywhere. I completely thought I was in South America. I did not know I was. For 1 second, I thought I was in a time machine, and I found myself in South America. It was crazy.
That's a mess.
I know, right?
It's so widespread too. I went down to South Carolina 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. I think it was South Carolina.
Okay.
And it looked like that too. And I'm like, what's the South doing looking like this? But it's a mess.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make a comment about, so I think this was last week's show. A caller called in and said something about American women being, just not being marriage material.
Yeah.
And foreign women being more marriage material. And I agree with him. Most American women are, the only thing that makes a difference between most American women and those foreign women is that American women they're more indoctrinated in this social justice, women's rights, and gay rights, and all this social justice warrior stuff. Majority of these American and westernized women are indoctrinated in that stuff, as compared to foreign women who are. You might find some, but most foreign women are not.
By foreign, you mean non-European?
I'm sorry?
By foreign, you mean non-European as well?
Yes, that's exactly. Yes. Non-westernized, non-westernized women. Yes. And, both are still women, you still have to deal with the aspect that, they're women, they're emotional beings, and, but the thing with American women is they have this second thing about them that, you have to deal with. You have to deal with the fact that they're women, and you also have to deal with this social justice warrior thing, which makes it a lot harder, or it takes a lot of time to, get where you want to go. So that's the point I wanted to make.
Interesting, man. I know what you're saying, and there is a whole lot of brainwashing of men and women in this country, and in anywhere that the UN touches, they want to indoctrinate with this nonsense. They're pushing it into Africa and Asia too. But
it's starting to pop up. You're right.
They're pushing it everywhere. It's they're globalists. They want everybody to think the same. But
right.
I'm still for. There's decent women in every place, and there's decent. I'm kind of speculating, but there's decent men in every place.
Of course. There's some decent American women, but most are just a mess, to be honest.
Yeah.
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 So, and no wonder if you go through these YouTube streets, you'll find a lot of manosphere, men's channels, and black. There's a whole community called the Black Manosphere, and then you have these PRAs, and then you have these MGTOWs, and they all hate women. And I see where they're coming from, but looking at coming from a biblical point of view, they're wrong for hating women, but I see where they're coming from with that hate.
Right.
They hate them.
They hate
women.
There's a whole lot of corruption to be mad at. They shouldn't be mad, but they are. Who's not, right? But you have to overcome it. But the thing is, men are supposed to lead the women. The women aren't supposed to lead the men. So you can't expect the woman to come into the situation perfect already, because she needs the correction. So exactly. So, in my mind, you're gonna run into issues crossing cultures like that, because for one, the American culture, the women here need men to lead, and I don't care whether that's that's in terms of relationships, like romantic relationships, whatever, to have white babies, or just in general as leading as examples. But they need that, and there's no changing it if we just abandon, give up on them. There's a whole lot of
that's very true.
There's a whole lot of this push to swirl. I've seen it's a disgusting term referring to like purposely going out to race mix because the black women hate the black men so much that they want to go find white men. And
right.
Jesse interviewed some lady, kooky lady, about that. But I just don't like that push to go outside of your own culture, abandoning any hope of finding a halfway decent woman that you can work with. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not something
that's
to
true.
advocate.
I definitely agree with what you're saying, but there's majority of these men are in a fallen state, and they have no idea. They don't know. They don't know that they're supposed to lead the women.
Yeah.
And they end up hating the women and abandoning those women. And the black community is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
As you just mentioned.
And the other thing is, man, I just lost my train of thought. But it's pushed as though it's a good thing, and it's not a good thing. And this race mixing and stuff. And it's not something to celebrate, it's not something to push. It's something to like sound the alarm about how bad the women are in a way that's gonna change people. And people that are changing people are the people without the hate. People like Jesse, people like Trump. People that are setting an example as men. And that's far more powerful than finding some way where you're going to find your best chances of finding a less good woman. Oh, I remembered what I was going to say. Or less bad woman. Like, there's a whole lot of push to look for example, the Asian women are more traditional. There's a stereotype of that, which they are, but underneath the surface, it's the same spirit, like Jesse always says. They just hide it better, basically. It is Christianity, for example. Most people are fake Christians, right? We're brought up in Christianity. We adhere to some of the rules. Some of them we disregard, and our heart is not changed, and it keeps us so-called better behaved until like we don't behave right. But that is better than the alternative of not having the Christianity, right? But we got to aim for perfection because perfection is attainable. So that's why we need to not give up on, well, you're already married, so you're good. But that's why the single guys need to not just say, oh, just forget about the Western women. That's what I'm pushing for. Don't forget the Western women, just because they're brainwashed and feminist. Anyways, KT.
Exactly. I see your point. And that's true. And I don't know if there'll ever be a solution to this problem.
Yeah.
I think it's going to just continue going and happening. And
I think the solution is in the individual.
I'm just looking forward to the results of that. I can't wait to see the results.
Yeah.
And I think the black community is definitely going to be a good case study for this.
It's all about the individual, because the individual is the one who changes and becomes saved, repents, and sets the example for others. And that's so powerful. When you see somebody living right, then that's like, oh man, I didn't realize that was possible. I had given up on that type of thing.
Right.
All right, KT. Happy White History Month to you. Nice to hear from you.
Happy White History Month, and happy belated birthday. I didn't get a chance to wish you a happy birthday. I just want to wish you a happy belated birthday today.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting, and keep up the great work.
Cool. Take care, KT. Mike, out of New York.
Here.
There you are. Thanks for holding, man.
I'm good. I wanted to comment on two previous callers.
Okay.
Well, the caller, he mentioned something about Guatemala. about how, you walk through the cities and it looks like he wondered if he's in Guatemala.
In D.C., yeah.
I want you guys to know it's not just the Hispanics. It's primarily people of color in general. I live in Kew Gardens. Right now I'm in my house in Florida. I had to get away because there's an encroachment of people of color in my neighborhood where they throw their trash, they loiter, they commit violent crimes, and so on.
Yeah.
Where I'm from is the West Indies. My ancestors hail from India, and the indentureship that occurred about 150 years ago, which brought them to Trinidad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see this problem in Trinidad, where, generally speaking, they're just pretty bad people when it comes to, their philosophies, their perspective on life, how they live, how ought they to live, so to speak, right? And then they migrate to first world nations like the UK, the United States of America.
Yeah.
And they bring their poor behavior. They do not assimilate.
Yeah.
They create parallel societies, and they seek to infringe and superimpose their values on the host nation. Just the other day, my wife and I, we walked around the neighborhood outside of our neighborhood, which would be Richmond Hill, right? We live in Kew Gardens. It's predominantly white, predominantly European. And, we've accomplished this by, becoming financially solvent and, through perseverance, et cetera. Now, we walked around Richmond Hill, and there's trash all over the streets.
Yeah.
And people walk by, they drop their trash, they litter, they engage in all sorts of slogging type of behavior.
Yeah.
Right? So I recorded it. I'm still to put it on my my YouTube channel to discuss it because I run a philosophy channel as well. I don't want to plug, but
okay.
I run a philosophy channel that's region-specific to Richmond Hill and to the people where I come from. And I talk about these things. And the distinction that I like to make is that people of different races create different societies.
Yeah.
And that's a fact, right? So, generally speaking, I'm glad that there's White History Month.
Yeah.
Because in light of different races building different societies, we see the type of society that the white man has built. It is superlative compared to other races, compared to other ethnic groups, right? And you and I, we could discuss the individuals, right? But we cannot afford to take the exceptions to the rules and pretend and attempt to make new rules. We see that there's a pathological behavior that occurs when you have a group of people. Individuals are the exceptions to the rules, but it's almost retarded to talk about individuals.
Yeah.
The pathological patterns that emerge when you have a group of people is what is concerning. And if you look at the GSS, I don't know if your audience would know about the GSS, but basically it gives you the statistics and it gives you an insight to how people of color or people or migrants in general, how they vote on certain things, such as freedom of speech, how they feel about health care, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And it's alarming. They are literally destroying this nation.
Yeah, they're socialists automatically. And it's crazy that they come here to flee what they created and create it here. I was reading about some guys that became ISIS fighters, and I was reading the story from their mother, and I'm hearing about the gang activity that they were involved in, and this is in like the UK somewhere. And they're they're bringing that degeneracy, that culture, that violence, and they don't, but the whites are so stupid, they don't care, though. They can't do anything. They're so weak. So I don't know how to fix that, but that's where it does. That's where it does come to the. That's where it does come to the individual to turn things around. Both the individual whites and the individual POCs, who can see it, and who know that there's something wrong, because that change of heart into, and they call it acting white. In a sense, it is acting white, but it's more. But it's more because I guess I don't know. It's no use looking for the explanation, but the solutions are very simple. And that's what that's what Jesse's pushing, is about rebuilding the men. So,
right,
man, I appreciate your call.
In regards to the last caller, who he was referring to women, talking about women,
yeah,
and the Western woman, the women of USA,
right.
Majority of these men fail to realize that it's primarily female biology that has gone political. I call it the nagging housewife syndrome, where the housewife, she nags the husband for anything and everything that she wants, and he has to acquiesce.
Yeah.
When you get a collective of females, the female biology, in the political sphere, in politics, it's no different. She nags daddy government,
yeah,
right, to get what she wants.
That is a good point, man.
Got it.
Yeah,
the
they are.
Acquiesces.
They hate Mother Nature. Like, what the stuff that they call sexism is just basic Mother Nature or God. They hate God. They hate nature. They hate science. Because they hate. They love abortion.
I'm sorry to interject, but he mentions the manosphere and he mentions MGTOW, etc. I have always maintained the position that MGTOW and the men of the manosphere are pretty much a reaction to what is going on in regards to feminism.
Yeah.
Again, feminism I would qualify as female biology going political and pretty much destroying everything, destroying society.
Yeah. Mike, man. Mike, I got to go. I appreciate your call. Good input.
No problem, man. You guys keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you guys, and happy White History Month.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care.
All the best.
Let's get to Grace. First-time caller out of New Jersey. Thanks, Grace, for holding.
Hi.
Hey, go for it.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I was calling about the last two callers were actually excellent.
Yeah.
And pretty much covered what I was looking to say in the way of, I think most of the problems, I believe, that seem to be kind of sudden. I know they've been going on for a long time, but what's, been in the news and on YouTube and all that, it seems like women are the cause of pretty much all these problems. And I think if they were reeled in a little bit, which would be impossible, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No,
it's not impossible.
I don't think men would be doing this on their own.
Yeah, it's not impossible. It is quite possible. It just takes non-beta maleness, which is
I'm sorry.
It's tricky to overcome.
I won't take your time because I'm unable to hear you now.
Okay.
It might be my phone or something, but
you're not the first one.
I could talk about it for hours. It just seems that women are ridiculously out of control.
Yeah, you're right, Grace.
And there's too many of them in politics.
Definitely. All right, Grace. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thanks.
No worries.
Bye.
All right. Let me get to Jonathan out of Chicago real fast. Jonathan, how are you? Make your point.
Really fast, I just want to say that about the other callers are saying that when immigrants come, illegal aliens come and they start making their own little neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I think that's true. Like, but right here in Chicago, you go to Michigan Avenue, and that's number one street that brings more revenues. But then the second one, it's nothing but illegals. Like, you think the city knows that? I think they know that, but because they could just go get them, take them out. But they know that they're bringing revenues too.
Yeah,
I think that's in every state they're in.
That's why I call it ill-gotten gain, because they're using the country, and then the politicians are using them, but nobody's caring about what's right for the country. Nobody's caring about the law. But
I mean, it's a right. They're bringing revenues to the city.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, that's money for the city too, right?
Yeah, it's
I mean, I agree it's dirty. Their neighborhoods are dirty. Yes, I agree and everything. But because you've been to their neighborhoods, have you?
Say that again. Yeah, I have.
Have you ever been to any illegal
yes,
aliens neighborhoods and stuff?
Yeah, I've been in
there's stores. They're bringing in money to their cities too.
Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't make it right. And it's a net.
But that's another thing.
It's a
How
net
do you know
loss.
what's right? I mean, that's another thing. How do you know what's right, what's wrong?
We know what's right because they're breaking the law. They're disrespecting America. They hate white people. They believe in racism, and so it's a mess because of that reason.
By right and wrong, then you're right and wrong. It could just be changed by it could just be changed quick, right?
No,
because
man.
like liquor was illegal.
Call me tomorrow, Jonathan.
Okay, all right.
All right,
Thanks.
take
Thank
care.
you, James.
All right, thank you.
Have a
Happy
good day.
White History Month. All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for, is it? Get it off your chest Friday tomorrow? All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.